Got it. Got it. Okay, so repeat that. We have already verified the quorum and we're on to the minutes, approving the minutes. Okay, are the minutes still showing that I put up, shared?
No, we see YouTube.
Oh, stop share. Okay. Let me try to share again. Sorry about that. I got too many things going in my brain. We're spinning. 1 second. To share again. Sorry about that. I got too many things going in my brain. Stop. There we go. This is definitely a young man's game here. All right. Share my screen. And all right, now is it shared?
Yeah, but you got a box on there for, you just
We
need to
see the email. We see the meeting email.
Somebody else want to drive?
we saw it briefly.
All right. So, okay, let me let some people in. Zurian. Okay. Here we go again. Share screen. Corporate meeting minutes. Now?
Yes.
Okay.
I move to adopt the minutes as presented.
A second.
Do we do a roll call on this? I don't remember. No? Okay.
This is good.
We are doing roll call then. Okay.
No, usually on these types of matters, it's, you know, a voice is okay when it's just this general idea, a general thing.
Okay. Motion to approve the minutes. Everyone in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Hi.
I
Noes? Abstains? Okay, motion passes.
So move on to executive director's report. First item is COVID.
All right, let me get that up next. Make sure I can do it. Okay. Is it there? Yes?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Did
All right.
everybody else see that block though in the middle? No?
Is it a block?
Okay, never mind. Maybe it's me.
I
Okay.
think as it's not on presenter view, maybe that's why.
Is that better?
Yes.
Can you see the actual, or do you see the presenter view?
We see the
Presenter view.
slides. Yep, it looks good.
All right, thank you. All right, here we go. So every Thursday, Chelsea, Miss Pullum, and I, our chief medical technician tonight. We oh, Ophelia left us. Now she's coming back. We attend the Maricopa County Department of Health webinar, and over the months we've followed it, and the guidance from the board some months ago was to follow the guidance of Maricopa County Department of Public Health. So, and 2 Thursdays ago, the next step that they counseled us was moving from pandemic to endemic mode. The focus of the data is shifting over to the impact on healthcare, on the hospital systems. So the new metrics that they presented to us to go by was the case rates per 100,000. Your community transmission is used differently. So they're using when hospitals are full and the transmission is high, then masks will still be recommended. So the data to help us decide which prevention steps to take, the community levels and recommendations only apply to non-healthcare settings, as it includes schools. So we're included in this type of community level and strategies. So the data is 7-day case rate, the COVID hospitalizations, a rate per 100,000, and the percent of hospital beds occupied by people with COVID-19. So as you can see, they presented to us that the yellow is in a moderate, medium, low, and then the orange is the high. So Maricopa County, you can see, is at a medium level. And so as of March 10th, we're in a medium. The rates per 100,000 at March 10th was 158 people per 100,000. The COVID transmissions, I don't get all the way there. Let's see. The 10.6 is the hospital inpatient beds per 100,000, and the case rate is 4.8. And so in the webinar, let me let this mom in. I'm just going to guide her and direct her that she can't comment until it's her turn. Okay, is everybody all right with that? Hello, Miss Appleton. Hi, Miss Appleton, thank you for joining us. We'll have you mute until it's time for that agenda item, okay? Thank you, ma'am. All right. So we're at medium risk for spread. And so what they're asking us to do is, if we're at medium risk, then we can wear the mask wearing is if you're at high risk for severe illness, or if you just want to, it's optional. You just wear a mask if you want to. Stay up to date with our vaccines and get tested if you have the symptoms. There was some other deeper, more guidance about tracing that didn't change too much, and Chelsea is up on all that. So what does that mean for us, for schools? The public health recommends that schools encourage masking for those at high risk or those who wish to wear a mask. Then they also recommend anyone with a known exposure wear a mask for 10 days. Ms. Pullum is tracking that and keeping that going. And then anyone with respiratory symptoms, they should wear a mask around others as well. So as of this morning, we started following this guidance that mask is optional, and we haven't made a big fuss over it. I don't want to discourage kids from wearing masks, but I don't want to make it like it has been a real pinch point in classes of this constant force to wear a mask. So I know that this morning, as I was guiding people, that as they're asking me for a mask at the gate, just saying, we don't have to wear a mask anymore, but you can if you want to. there was many that were very excited and happy, and there was many who said, oh, I'm going to keep wearing a mask. So we have them available for those kids and teachers. Isolation quarantine, it really has it's unchanged from before. Some more guidance about any known exposure. They could come to school if wearing a mask if they have no symptoms of COVID-19. So any Paideia changes, we'll continue to follow those guidelines. The webinar is shifted to Tuesday, and Chelsea and I will continue to attend those and take notes and follow their guidance. At this point, there's no screening at the gate. Chelsea and I looked at our data, and over the last how many months and thousands of head screenings we've done, we couldn't even remember any that had come across as having a fever. And so it just seems like not a very productive way to greet kids at the gate anyway. So now we'll start greeting with our enjoyment and enthusiasm. We will continue to have masks available as an option and make sure that teachers and everyone is aware that if a child or an adult wants to wear a mask, we'll make that perfectly available to them. All right, any questions on that? We can't really discuss, but any questions for clarification? There's no really staffing update yet. We're still in the midst. It looks like we're going to have a real good year of teachers coming back, some strong teachers coming back. Our interviews and the career fairs that we attended were very promising, especially for early childhood teachers. And as normal, there's some attrition of teachers moving and getting, fiancés getting stationed elsewhere and that kind of thing. That's the normal transition. So we have no real update, but we are heavily engaged in interviewing and recruiting. This is our enrollment projection report. I just wanted to show you what we as an executive team look at every Monday. We look at the number of this is the current returning scholars. We just ramped up this right now because we just got the returning enrollment forms trickling back. So that's what's come back so far, but I'm not too worried about that. And then we enroll the new scholars. This is our top capacity. So our base enrollment goal, which Joel will go over with us in a minute, is 950 this year to make our base enrollment for budgeting. Our top capacity, we'll go to 5 kinders and then 4 the rest of the way. Hopefully next year we'll go to 5 kinders and 5 first grades as we have in the past. So for this year, we'll have 4 7s, 4 8s. We're shooting for 4 9s. Victoria, can you guide me out? Remind me on this. Was it 4 9s and 3 10s? That looks wrong.
For this coming year?
Yeah.
It's 4 altogether. So 2 9s, 2 10s, 4 9th and 10th grades. Yeah.
Okay, I'll have to adjust that because that did look weird to me. It's the first time I looked at it that way. So that's 75 off of there. So that's our base enrollment goal. I just want to show you what we look at every Monday and our waiting list. Ms. Garrison, do you have any curriculum instruction updates you want to give to them, to the board?
The only update is that we are in the process of curriculum review and adoption. So we're going through curriculum review process for both our language arts curriculum and our math curriculum as well. And that process may lead to a curriculum change and adoption, which we'll bring to the board at that time when we have that ready. Just so you're aware that we are in that process.
Mrs. Mendonça, anything you want to update on assessment intervention?
Just to make the board aware that testing is right around the corner. We'll be starting the end of March with the Arizona Science Test, and then the AASA will follow starting in April.
We are currently in an intersession mode for the next 2 weeks. The quarter actually starts on on March 28th is when 4th quarter starts. So this intersession time is a time for some preparation, some projects, and some other type of things coming up. All right, Mr. Bryce, are you there? I see you. Okay, Mr. Joel Bryce, I'm going to make you co-host so you can share your screen, all right? We do not hear you very well. You've got either a bad connection or. We don't hear you very well at all. Nothing. It's like your microphone is underwater or something.
Can you hear me now?
There we go. All right.
Okay, man, technology is something, isn't it? Okay, I'm going to share this report and get to.
You crashed out again on the vocal, on the verbal audio, I mean. Yeah, I can't hear you at all. Not really.
All right, I don't know what to do with that.
I hear you now.
You can hear me now?
Yes.
We'll try to leave it like that and see what happens.
Oh, it's like you have a loose wire or something.
Maybe try calling in on a cell phone into the meeting. If you
You want to just call me, Joel? You want to just call me on my cell phone, Joel?
Just make sure to mute your computer.
Oh.
Or just leave the meeting completely. I had to turn off my video because I'm having connectivity issues. So I feel the pain.
Okay, there we go.
All right, now can you hear me?
Okay, we have some thumbs up there.
Woohoo.
So you're gonna have to follow along, Brian, if you can throw that up on the screen.
Oh,
Let me see if I can jump back in and leave it muted. Hold on.
okay, yeah, I like that better. Okay, there you go. All right, here you go.
Okay. Now we're gonna share.
Let's see, who needs to mute me? Oh yeah, you mute your computer, Joel. or something.
I've gotta mute yours.
If I mute mine, they will not hear you.
They should hear me, but they can't respond.
You should turn the volume down on his computer.
All right, let's see what
Like
that's
you,
like.
because you're muted on yours. Oh yeah, that's right. You'd have to turn yours way down. You're right.
So are we talking now? Can they hear me?
I think so. I see some
Alright,
happy
let's figure this
faces.
out. In the process, it looks like you may have disabled participant screen sharing.
Probably because I was losing confidence in you.
I know.
Sorry.
It's been a day for technology. There's something going on with
I always forget we're being recorded.
Let me know when you got that sharing up again.
I think I do.
Oh,
I gotcha.
okay. Here we go. I feel like we're getting there.
There we go. All right.
So, board members, again, I apologize for the delay getting this report out to you. I wanted to include financials through the 2/28 close dates, the month of February, which we have here. Show you where we're at year to date. So cumulative operations for the first 8 months of the school year. Pretty quick over. Very good. As you recall, the budget was built on an assumptive ADM of about 790. We are short of that right now. We're funded at 778.284, but based on how we project our revenues, we're still within the right range. We don't have to adjust our revenues budget for any of the state funding. We're still going to overachieve it, even though enrollment was lower than we anticipated by a few students. Currently, we're tracking toward a debt service coverage of 1.44 times coverage. That's actually strengthened with the most recent budget revision that we did on the 10th. We went through and kind of right-sized revenues and certain expenses related to services primarily that we were running over budget on. We dealt with some revenue issues on the local revenues, and we're in good shape. Finished the year, as I said, at 1.44 times coverage, 269 days cash, so very strong performance for the year. Nothing really to concern ourselves with. We're tracking nicely to our budget, which I'll show you here in a minute. First page that we'll go through, statement of financial position, just a real quickie. You can see that this period, February 28th of 2022, as compared to the exact same period a year ago, we've actually increased our cash position, even though we have a higher receivable. We have eliminated some long-term indebtedness with the forgiveness of the SBA loan, and we're doing very well, continuing to improve our net assets or total equity very nicely. Next page, budget versus actual. Probably my favorite page for this report. You'll see we're about $153,000 over in projected revenues, all of it from the state. All of that number will hold through the end of the year and continue to increase. So we're in good shape on revenues. Even though we're still heavily dependent on ESSER funds for this year based on what we're using them for, and most of those funds are not even in here yet as far as revenues go. They're in the budget. We'll receive them toward the end of the year, but we're doing very well. And expense-wise, we're about $177,000 under across all categories of expenditure. A good chunk of that is personnel related with some changes in staffing and the related benefits. We're over $100,000 in savings there. And then most of the rest of this is just timing. We're a little underexpended based on when I thought we would spend money, but that will catch up. But we're still coming in under expenses and over revenues on the budget, which means that projection of coverage in cash is still very reliable. We should do a little bit better than what I'm showing you there by the time we close the year out. Statement of cash flows, you see we burned off about $570,000 in cash since we started the fiscal year. That's normal for Paideia and for really any charter school for that matter. We burned through our cash reserve for the first about 9 months of the year and then reestablish and build it back better over the last 3 months to close the year strong. Last couple pages to go through. I do not have an update on the fiscal year 2023 budget included in this report. That will come into next board meeting. I can speak to it, but Brian had alluded I would share something. I did not include that.
Okay, that's all right.
All right, so here's The projection are in our dashboard, 1.44, 1.45 days times coverage and 269 days cash. A great year for the school. The remainder of the report, the last 3 pages, is the detail behind the budget, so you can see in comparison to the last one I presented what changed in the 310 budget revision. Predominantly local revenues and a few expense line items related mostly to services and certain supply items. But we actually were able to improve our bottom line projection a little bit with that budget revision. So I'm going to pause there and see if there's any questions from the board on the financial report.
Yeah, I want to remind everyone of the debt service coverage ratio, how strong that is. So it's hard to appreciate how important that is. That the days cash on hand and our net revenue, because we have a 3-year look back. I'm planning right now, Joel and I and the executive team of bonding out in 3 years, and that 3-year look back is so crucial. So being healthy right now is very nice.
Absolutely, it's a great point, Brian. With the upcoming project for financing of expansion of facilities for PLA, as well as that bond out in 3 years, after that fact, idea of being so well positioned is critical to our financial plan. And just to give you an idea where you would rank, and I don't have this in hard data, but I can just tell you from experience, based on your statement of financial position or your balance sheet, your liquidity, and your current year performance on coverage, you probably rank in the upper 5 to 7% of charter schools nationally as far as your financial position goes. It's very good. And that really helps when we're talking to banks and lenders, and then underwriters and buyers of municipal debt when we refinance the facility. So we're in great shape.
Yeah.
And it's no accident. Brian and team work very, very hard in keeping us there.
Real quick, I want to go back one page if we can. The variance column, if we can go back up one there, Joel. It might just be, it needs to be updated, but the numbers don't seem to add up in the variance column, the right column. If it's a variance between 2021 and 2022.
Yeah, you're right. I see what, you know what, I probably did not update the formulas there, Dr. S. I apologize.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that we can acknowledge that as we're talking through it.
I will make that change here in a second so future reports are accurate. Thank you.
Thanks. Yeah.
Any other questions? Looks like I don't see any nodding heads and raised hands. So, Brian, I'm going to stop the share and turn it back over to you.
Very good. All right. That's the end of the executive director's, the executive team report, Mrs. McNeil. And I'm going to hold you on the line, Joel, because I'm going to need your voice here in a minute, okay? You're up, Miss McNeil. Maybe. Are you there, Ophelia? Who's second in command? It's not me, is it? Well, I'm not sure she might be disconnected. I don't know. All right, the next item, item 4, is a corporate board resolution. I sent the resolution out. Let me see if I can share my screen. And I totally acknowledge my weakness and inexpertise in writing corporate resolutions. So here's the history of it and why we need to go through this. Thank you to whoever's guest editing. we need to construct an additional 11,000 square feet, a wing onto the Paideia Liberal Arts Academy's campus, where we're, there she is. We're putting the wing on the very west side where that big square of grass is. And the wing, we have a design, and ASU is involved in helping us to design our science labs. And so there's a lot of activity going, but I realize that this is probably going to hit our budget decisions this fiscal year, and our decision-making tool of this, it requires us to have a corporate resolution, because it's not in, it's in this year's, I think it's going to be in this year's budget to sign things. So we need to have the resolution. So that's where this is coming from. So any questions on this and any discussion how this should be done, especially Ben, Mr. Tejan?
So from a resolution standpoint, I think we can adopt a resolution and enable amendment of the language if necessary. I have a question about the funding package. How do we know that it's 4 million?
Yeah, so there is a guaranteed, what's it called, Joel? A guaranteed maximum price. And the GMP is coming out at 3.2 from Johnson Carlier, who is the preferred vendor because they built this building. And the 4 million
For 3.2, Brian, is that correct?
is 3.2, correct. And then I put 4 million because I wasn't sure if I had to put in for the FF&E, for all the furniture, or if that's next year's budget. But we certainly could go, I mean, I could put that at 3.2, 3.3, I put not to exceed that.
Not to exceed 4 million seems reasonable given the soft costs and costs related to the expansion. I can't imagine we get to 4, but it's there. Just in case.
Yeah, that's a nice cushion, 25% roughly.
And then additional, I put approximately 11,000 square feet because we're not all the way finished with the design phase, and it might push out a little bit, in a little bit, and I didn't want to commit to exactly 11,258 square feet. But that's very close to what it will be.
And I suppose some of the bigger questions that I might have are about how this affects us in the long term financially. And I'm sure that's where Joel can come in.
Yeah.
And of course, this is to expand, rightfully to expand the lowest enrolled element of the school right now, which is the Liberal Arts Academy. And so I get the direction because that's the direction we have to head, but it's also the thing that does not provide as much revenue for Paideia. So can we do that? Can we project, what do we have to do to project this forward to be successful?
Yeah, Joel.
We need to hit the enrollment projection that Brian's laid out for our future growth. Up to our current enrollment cap, which is 1,150 ADM. This certainly fits within our financial capacity. That's something I can actually share with you here in just a second if I can find it. We have a 5-year projection that we've not just begun modeling, but been working with in these conversations to see how stressful that additional $4 million in indebtedness would be to the organization. And it all comes down to the enrollment. Could we handle it right now with no new enrollment? No. But as these things typically work, you grow into it with each progressive year, and we step the debt up in such a way that it kind of fits within that model. And then once we're able to bond it out, we'll actually have more than likely the ability to lower our interest rates even further in 3 years. That you can't ever know that, but it's a nice little tidbit as well. It's entirely dependent on the enrollment projections. Getting to that 1,100, I've got it pegged at 1,136 ADM. It's kind of our top end, even though we could go higher And we have significant additional capacity. I can tell you what that looks like without the indebtedness. What I can do here while you guys are talking amongst yourselves, I can get this keyed up and share it with you. It might be the best way to go to show you better what we're doing with as far as capacity pay.
Okay.
Bear with me.
I think you're still co-host. Nope.
I gotta find one more tool. I'll
Okay.
be right back.
Good question. This is kind of this rock and a hard place moment, because if we don't build, we can't afford dirt anywhere anymore. It's $1 million an acre, and we already own this dirt. So either we expand or we'll run out of room. This is the last year, 2024, next fiscal year, 2023. I mean, is the last year we'll even be able to remotely fit inside of these buildings. So we either expand, find another piece of dirt to build, but that just scares me terribly, the way the construction is and the cost of dirt right now.
You
Yeah,
have
if
a
you recall-
footprint here, Brian?
Say it again.
So I think I was talking over Aaron.
No, you're good.
I asked if there's a footprint, some kind of blueprint for the wing already.
I do have a rough design. I was going to present next in April after I get it really down.
Okay.
Yeah, it's basically on the second floor is all the science labs, 4 science rooms, 2 on each side with a partition wall that can be opened up to expand the lab. Downstairs will be 2 ELA and humanities room, classrooms, and on the north side downstairs will be a state-of-the-art health and wellness workout room for Phil and the Paideia model of health and wellness, and then a large art studio downstairs. Upstairs in the existing building, where the current little kitchen is over there, and it's being used as a little art room right now, that'll be gutted out and made into a large music room. Where the current music room is, our old conference room, that'll be a big math lab, right? Victoria Math Lab over there.
Cool.
Yeah.
Is it going to go north of the current front edge of the building up into the parking lot?
No, it'll just be exact straight.
Straight out.
Yeah, just straight out. It'll just extend on that side beautifully. And then it leaves a huge side on the very west end for, I call it a play area, but a recreation area where we could maybe have a court and some different areas for them to be able to, recreate, have fun. Playground, I guess we could.
It's where all the weightlifting equipment is.
And we're involved in with ASU sustainability with Ching Wen and them about making the building sustainable and using the air conditioning condensate to water gardens and putting in some cisterns to capture the water. And so it's fun to slow down and have it done right now, being done right, and have the moment to do it. We also have the teachers and Ms. Perez, the principal, highly involved in the design phase too, and that's been kind of fun to have that happen and watch them have voice and interaction with what it's going to look like.
Now, on the enrollment projections, if we were to, I have 2 questions that are kind of related. If we were to move forward with this resolution, which just disappeared, does that bind us? How far does that bind us? And B, relatedly, if enrollment projections do not come through, let's say upwards into June, do we have an off ramp to, just in case? $4 million is a lot of money.
I don't. My personality is once I'm hooked up and I've got my parachute ready to go and I'm pointed towards the door, I jump. I don't have a backwards I don't have a backwards momentum. I don't have that in me.
Fair enough, but you have a board that has a fiduciary responsibility.
That's what we're for, right?
That's why we're here, and I'm asking
we're the parachute, Aaron.
Exactly.
To answer your question, no.
I actually think this will be the first time I probably have ever said this in one of these meetings, but I think
I'm
sorry.
I think the price is too low. I'm surprised that it's only $4 million. But if there's an opportunity to do this in modular fashion, I don't know that 11,000 square feet is enough to get us where we need to go as a high school. So what we're talking about right now is a critical, cusp decision on, do we stick with the high school on our current grounds or do we not? And I totally agree with Brian. It's almost impossible to find land to build on at this point in any sort of reasonable expense. So I wasn't even thinking about the possibility of adding on. I think if it's possible and we can get to where we need to go as a high school by doing that, then we should do it.
I'm still in contact with Kroc Center for the larger sport type events. That is really a small percent of a high school population participates in larger court and larger field activities. So if we can use that and rent it and use that, that'll fulfill some of those larger court and larger field needs. I can up the price though, Ben. I can always spend more.
You just ask nicely, Brian. You get whatever you want.
What were you going to say, Joel? Go ahead. Did you forget? Joel, you're gonna make a point about the future and.
Yeah, I've got that projection ready to go. So I want to look through that real quick.
You're a co-host, so go ahead.
All right, let's do this.
Oh yeah, there you go. There's our.
Hold on. Can you all see this, or do I need to go bigger yet?
That looks good right there for me, anyway.
Yep.
Okay, so there's a lot of information on this page. I'm going to walk you through what's pertinent to this discussion. The year that is affected the most detrimentally by any new indebtedness is the year in which your building have yet to be able to fill. So it's all non-monetizable debt in that year. That's where the $4 million number comes in, because 3.2 for the project, there's soft costs, not the least of which is something called capitalized interest. That's basically us funding in advance the payments we need to make during the construction period. And it's an allowable add back to our debt service coverage. It takes the impact off of the cash side of things for us as well. So if you look at this projection for 2023, it's column M here. We're pegging off of a 946 enrolled number. Brian went through the details on that earlier. 886.80, and this is and the way enrollment works, the most critical year we've got is always the next year. So in this case, getting the 946 sets the stage nicely for everything else in this projection, because it's the year that assumes the most aggressive growth attainment, if you will. We assume in $4 million in debt at a rate of 5%, which I think we can actually beat on the commercial market side pretty handily right now. But that is annual debt service, including principal, of $258,000. I'm just making the whole thing in here to fully stress the budget. At that enrollment level, without the capitalized interest, we would run a debt service coverage of 1.08. But with the capitalized interest add back, 1.18. So minimum threshold coverage for that year. We can do a number of things in the financing package to get us through that betterment. That's your risk. The upcoming year before we can fill the new space, because it's not built, yet we have the debt we have to carry because we have to pay for it to get built. After that, if you take a look at 2024 and beyond, again, based on that upward matriculation of students only, no net new growth. We're running extremely strong coverage in the future, but it's all dependent on enrollment for 2023. Yeah. So the conversation management's been having every time is it is literally all about next year and getting to that 946 enrolled, getting back to 5 classes wide in kinder would be huge for us.
Yeah.
And that's where our growth comes from.
Yeah. Thank you, Joel.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
Since I'm newer to the board and these numbers, as far as enrollment, what like variables other than previous year's numbers go into your projections for enrollment? Like what are those other factors to determine what that projection might look like? Is it right the redevelopment of South Phoenix? Is it birth rate? Like what are the different factors we're looking at to determine those numbers?
I definitely look at the development and what's the housing that's going on around us, but primarily we look at matriculation, what group is coming up with the understanding that we will lose a few, and then we'll gain a few. So it's kind of like that, the upward momentum, and that's how we've done it since 2012. Really, is just the upward momentum of what we already have. The primary thing.
Ryder, I've got the enrollment shared. Can you see that from your end?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 2023 is the year we're looking at. That's now yellow. And to Brian's point, most of it is just upward matriculation. There is some planned growth for sure, adding another section in kinder. That's a big one. And some additional additions in the lower grades where we have been successful in the past, adding net new students a lot more so than in the upper grades. Combining this with our financial plan is to invest much more significantly in marketing and advertising for that enrollment, which we're already well underway with in this current fiscal year. We've seen a direct correlation between new spending and new enrollment. We know pre-COVID what worked very well for the school, and now we're layering that in with additional social media presence. And I feel pretty comfortable. That's a realistically attainable goal for the upcoming year. I don't think that's pie in the sky by any stretch. We usually take that upper end number and discount it around 10%. In our case, the discounting happened for us because in the upcoming year, we cannot fit all of our upward movement in what was the preschool facility. It's the baseline facility now. We actually kind of throttle our own enrollment as they move up. We don't have enough space for them until the new space is built. So that took care of some of the discount by itself.
Yeah. Yeah, good question. Well, let me throw, if you can, let me go back to Sharon. I will throw that resolution back up. This is the time that it was bad. So can we entertain a motion for this?
I still want my question answered real fast.
Go ahead. I don't remember your question. Sorry.
The question is the first. I had 2 parts of the question, and A, are we signing a $4 million check right now, effectively? And B, if not, then is there an off ramp that we can take if enrollment does not meet our projections, say in June before the fiscal year? And
no, I'll tell you that there by June, I wouldn't. Normally by June, we don't have all of our enrollment. There's a huge flurry in July, especially of kindergartners that happens at that time. There's no, I don't see a back out, to be honest with you. Either way, we have to build or we're going to run out of space. It's going to take us a full 18 months to get it built. Right. So it's like right now, it's like we have to make a choice about, do we build this I don't know another choice, actually.
Yeah, we've talked about this for years about how without growth in grades and space that we actually start to lose money over time because we can't grow. And so I mean, I get that argument, and I think that it's a compelling one. I was just curious in terms of a fallback position if we had one. But so this is the $4 million check is what we're looking at.
Yes,
Check, but
it's not completely, like, it's not $4 million this year, but it would
Sure.
definitely be a $3.2 million financed package next year
Right.
with some other FF&E and, you know, furniture and that kind of stuff to fill it out. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dr. Windsor?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, sorry, I dropped off you guys a little early. I don't know what happened, but I could hear you guys, but I couldn't get back on for you to hear me. But is this, do you have a timeline on this project?
We have a timeline of, we need to open those doors to teachers by the middle of July. So I've given, and there's some built-in late stuff that if it's not all the way open for us to put furniture in and get ready to go by, it's the second week of July, that there's some little penalties in there. So there's some, in fact, that guaranteed maximum price is 3.2. It's understood as I went through the contracts and stuff with Johnson Carlier that there's a great hope to come way under that, and then that's savings for us. So hopefully we go under.
Just a couple of comments. Well, actually, the question first. So the interest in expanding to high school, is that been a comment that parents and have been saying, or the community of what else are you going to keep going with this, or how did it come about?
Yes, from our very first moment in Chandler, our very first meeting, Beth and I were there. So it was, with a program like this, you can't just stop at 6th grade. And we made the commitment back then that a whole child leader in me type of a program you need to graduate from that. So, and it's been for years, parents ask me, where are you going to put the high school? You know, what are you going to do? Are you going to stop here? You know, what about 7th grade? What about 8th grade? You know, where's the 9th graders going to go? It's been a constant question with them.
As far as filling the slots, I mean, just driving around this area on Baseline, it has expanded so much with housing that I think that parents are going to want a quality place to send their kid, because some of the schools in the area are not that. But being that it's not going to be a traditional, in my view, of a high school, you know, with all the other extracurricular activities, unless, you know, like you talk about Kroc is an excellent place for a lot of extracurricular activities. I don't know, I don't think it would be that much of a problem getting the enrollment.
We've always made our enrollment goals, thankfully. And you know, you're right, there's a lot of schools around us, and I'll be the first to admit and say that we're certainly not perfect, but we're trying to be whole person, trying to do it. And I think we have scholars who come back to us. You know, there are scholars who left, and then come October, there's several coming back saying, we need to come home. It's not the same out there. We need to come back to a small community where we make mistakes, but we can come together and talk about it and just be this small community.
Sorry, I'm green. I'm
Thank you. I figured you were. Well, I'd like to entertain a motion to accept the resolution.
I'll make the motion to accept the resolution.
I'll second.
Is that Ms. Mendoza?
Yes. I couldn't unmute fast enough. Sorry.
No worries. Okay,
Joel, if you need to go, I don't think we need any more at this.
All right, thanks, Brian.
All right, talk to you later.
bye, Joel. Okay, so for the motion to accept the corporate board resolution, we are going to do a roll call vote. Okay, Dr. Windsor,
Yes.
Mrs. McNeil,
Yes.
I'm a yes, Mrs. Mendoza,
Yes.
Ms. Garrison,
Yes.
Dr. Hess.
Wait, hold on. The motion's still being amended. We should probably wait till that's done.
Give me just a second.
Oh, it
Yeah,
is?
it is.
Okay.
Ben needs to-
I'm not reading, I'm not
Yeah.
watching.
I'm almost done. I just
I
need
think I think we should redo the vote.
the Word version of, or the online version of Word is new to me here. I'm just gonna tab it in like this. These are the provisions of the resolution that we're voting on, the indented part.
Okay.
Want to make sure that Ben didn't write in and a sum of $1 million to be paid to Ben.
I was gonna wait till the vote was called. Thanks, Aaron.
Sorry, you didn't write me in.
All right, I think that's it.
For your Norway trip.
Yeah, no, right.
All right, so we'll redo the motion. Whoever said it. Ms. McNeil, I mean, Miss.
Okay, motion is written. Accept the corporate board resolution as currently written before any other amendments are made. So should I read it?
Yes.
Yeah, I think those two, right?
The corporation shall pursue conventional financing in an amount not to exceed $4 million to construct an additional wing of the Paideia Liberal Arts Academy campus located at 1535 East Baseline Road in Phoenix. The officers of this corporation are authorized to perform the acts to carry out this corporate resolution. Good.
Beth, you seconded it still?
Yeah, I'll still second. I didn't know if she's done or not.
Okay. Now I'm going to do the roll call. Okay. Dr. Windsor,
Yes.
Ms. McNeil, Ms. McNeil,
Sorry.
there
Yeah.
it is. Okay. Mrs. Mendoza,
Yes.
Ms. Garrison,
Yes.
Dr. Hess,
Yes.
Dr. Teachin,
Yes.
Dr. Lechuga Peña.
Yes.
Fantastic. Yes, the motion passes.
Yay. All right, oops, sorry, I just take over.
Brian, it says changes are saved to the cloud, so I'm gonna close this.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
Okay, ready for the next thing?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Discussion to vote, approve sex education course content for Paideia Liberal Arts Academy, 7 through 12 grades. We all went through the training, most of us, I believe, and participated in some meetings with the parents invited. Are we ready to go ahead and make an agreement on this? Ask for a vote. Which one is second?
Is there any discussion on it?
So is there, I'm sorry, I did not attend the training. I just wanted to make sure that the course content has been presented and is available.
Yes,
Yeah.
Victoria, you want to review that? Just the process we use.
Yeah, yes, the course content has been presented. It's been available for public view. we had to have it available for, I think it was 60 days, right, Dr. Windsor? So we had that available, and we also had 2 public meetings to go over that curriculum, and we talked about what's included in it, and we took questions and answers, and we followed the law to the T.
All right. You notice I don't really care what the content is. I just want to know that the process is followed.
We
Process
definitely
over
followed the
substance.
Yes.
Right. That's great. Thank you.
Well, I'd like to make a motion to adopt the sex education course content for Paideia Liberal Arts Academy as outlined in our process. How do we word that? As presented.
Yes.
In the process.
Presented. I will second that if I can.
Okay, we have a second. You want to do roll call, Melissa? You want me to do it?
Sure, I can do roll call.
Okay.
All right, for the motion to accept the sex education course content for the Paideia Liberal Arts Academy as presented, Dr. Windsor,
Yes.
Mrs. McNeil,
Yes.
Mrs. Schmaltz, I'm a yes, Mrs. Mendoza,
Yes.
Ms. Garrison,
Yes.
Dr. Hess,
Yes.
Dr. Tejan,
Yes.
Dr. Lechuga Peña.
Yes.
Fantastic, motion passes.
Great, let's move along. Discussion and a vote regarding fingerprint clearance card policy. Motion to adopt the FCC policy language. Would you like me to read it, or is everybody familiar with it?
The background of this is our counsel from our legal advisors at the Osborne Maladon recommended this language because right now we don't have a policy. So anytime we are audited, we have to have a fingerprint clearance card for everybody, even those who don't even ever come in contact with a student. And that's not required by the law, but the charter board does require that. So there's some conflict. So our legal counsel has advised we put this in a policy adopted by the board that'll help us in future audits. That we don't have to require our night janitors or night janitors, some of the caterers who just bring food that aren't in, that don't have access to the students unsupervised. That's the background.
I remember doing this a few years back when I was helping out. And so are these retained forever, or there's a certain area that who keeps the bookkeeping on that?
The HR director, Sandra Loring, the director of operations, she keeps these in a binder and keeps track of the expiration dates. With the challenge is that our night custodians, you know, they're 4-hour employees. They never come in contact with a scholar. Then we make them go through the whole rigor of a fingerprint clearance card when the actual law states that they need a background check. But the charter board has been ambiguous on this, and we've even gotten dinged a couple of times because a night custodian or somebody else who has no contact with the child, unsupervised or even a contact, didn't have their fingerprint clearance card.
Or it was in the process because
or was in the process.
It was in the process, yeah.
Yeah, so.
Okay.
And then, so the school's director of corporate operations, which is Sandra Loring, she'll have the authority to make the determination of which employees exempt from the card versus a background check.
So that's required for anybody coming on campus that volunteers, right?
No, a volunteer, like if they're a continuous volunteer, like they say, hey, I'm going to be there every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday in the Caffeinasium, then we can have them do a background check, but they don't have to have a fingerprint clearance card. right.
Okay.
But other volunteers who are just there as a, you know, like a classroom mom or dad or whatever, they don't have to have anything like that.
Brian, just because of the ambiguity at the charter board level on this, I would push for a little bit more stringent language in the policy, and the policy's fine. But if there's a statute that we can cite in A.R.S. that indicates what the exemption is.
Isn't it this one 15-512?
15.512, I think, is the fingerprint clearance requirement, but I don't know if it has the exemption in it as well.
Oh, this just came straight from Lynn.
Okay. Personnel. I'm just going to check it real quick.
Go
if
ahead.
everybody
Yeah.
doesn't mind. Contractor, subcontractor, or vendor who's contracted. Do they have to? The school district government. Okay, so this is from subsection H. A school district governing board shall adopt policies to exempt a person from the requirements of the subsection if the person's normal job duties are not likely to result in independent access or unsupervised contact with pupils.
Yeah, that's Lynn's sentence right there. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, this is crazy. So just so everyone knows, as board members, we are exposed to civil liability in these issues. However, as long as we're not grossly negligent or committing intentional misconduct, we adopt a policy that allows people who don't have fingerprint clearance on campus in these situations, we're exempt from liability. So as long as we follow Lynn's guidance, we can confidently adopt a policy like this. I don't think we need to cite any other statute in the language. It's all in 15.512. I just want to make sure our identification of the director of corporate operations that matches Sandra's actual title.
It does.
Okay.
Yeah, because when Lynn sent this to me, it was the schools and then blank. She had us put in who was responsible for that.
Okay. I think it's fine.
I would adopt somebody make a motion.
Make a motion to adopt the fingerprint clearance card policy.
Mm-hmm.
So moved.
Each Jinx. I'll second then.
Okay, roll call vote. Moving to adopt the FCC policy language for the fingerprint clearance card policy. Dr. Windsor,
Yes.
Mrs. McNeil,
Yes.
Ms. Mendoza,
Yes.
Ms. Garrison,
Yes.
Dr. Hess,
Yes.
Dr. Teachin,
Yes.
Dr. Lechuga Benya.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Those are our agenda items. We got another one, call to the public.
Hi, Ms. Appleton. I'm going to ask you to unmute. I want to remind the board members that this is a public comment time. We can't take action, can't comment. We can listen and maybe make some directions from Ms. Appleton's comments. And we have 3 minutes. So Ms. Appleton, you're up.
Hello, board. Speaking on behalf of myself and my daughter, Angel Taylor. I have my written notes, so I should be less than 3 minutes.
Okay.
My daughter, Angel Taylor, attends Paideia for the 2021-2022 school year. In this time, my daughter has been physically assaulted, verbally assaulted, intimidated, stolen from, called racial slurs, and now has been accosted by a teacher. All of these incidents have gone ignored by the staff that she's reported to and underwhelmingly addressed by administration. It is my feeling as a parent that the best interest of the students is not being prioritized. The anti-bullying policy in the handbook is one, out of date, as there is no reporting form. When I mentioned this to the staff and administration, they had no idea what I was talking about. 2, it's not being followed. A lot of the offenses against my child and others have been committed by the same individual. Based on this individual's offenses, i.e. name calling, she's called my child the B word and other cuss words, theft, this child has gone into my daughter's personal belongings and taken her money, intimidation, this child has gathered a group of her friends to follow my child around the playground and hurl threats and insults. Physical violence, this child has pushed my child and provoked my child on many occasions. According to her attendance reported by my child, I can assume that she has received nothing more than a talking to. My child has been called the N-word by the same boy, but the boy was allowed to point the finger at someone else and walk away without punishment. It pains me because this is the first school my daughter has made true friends, and she is begging me, you talk about attrition, she is begging me to return to this school next year. I also have a kindergartner that I want to go to the same school as his sister if I choose to send her there, but I don't want to based on what's happening right now. The administration continuously puts numbers rather it be head count or dollars ahead of the welfare of the students. And after sitting through this meeting, I'm pretty solid on that belief. It is my hope that this is rectified, the policies be enforced by Paideia, and Paideia fosters a safe learning environment. This is the account, in summary, this is the account of one child, my child, but it represents many of the children. Being the best of the worst isn't the goal, and I hope that Paideia, I understand you're in South Phoenix, you have a particular demographic, but it's unacceptable. I've never encountered this anywhere else. So, thank you.
Hey, I will say thank you. We do have a bully report. So I appreciate you letting me know that somebody didn't know about that, so I can rectify that immediately. I also want to let the board know that we do have a meeting scheduled with Ms. Appleton and our team on Thursday at 3:30 to really drill down and dig into this and make sure that all is understood and well. So I appreciate you bringing this to my attention. I do. Is there any other directions you'd like me to take, Ms. McNeil, on this?
No, I believe that, Ms. Appleton has made her, thoughts clear and what the expectation is. And I'm going to rely on the administration to follow through on that. So I think we should probably get an update, probably not be able to share a lot of information, but that it's being addressed.
Yeah, I can send an update to the board with blind. We can't comment it, but I'll just update you on our meeting on Thursday, because I've got Ms. Appleton, I've got the whole team coming to the table to make sure that you can address everybody. Okay.
Much appreciated.
I love Angel, and she makes me smile every day. So we got this.
Thank you.
It says a lot about, parent bringing this up to us, so.
Yeah, good mom right there.
Yeah. Okay, meeting's a little bit longer, but we covered a lot of ground. So if there's not anything else, I call the meeting to adjourn.
So moved.
I'll make the motion.
All right, let's look at our calendars, please. April is a very important month. There's lots on the agenda. So I would suggest is the 18th, that's the third Monday, is that okay?
Yep.
Okay, let's just say April
Yes.
18th, 5 o'clock, Zoom. All right, thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Wait, we didn't vote on adjourning.
Oh,
Yeah,
thank you, Aaron.
Sorry.
I didn't get a
Stickler for
second.
rules.
Second.
A second.
Everyone who, I don't know, my brain just died. So tired. Everybody who wants to adjourn, say aye.
Aye.
I
Approves the
Aye.
motion. Okay, anyone who doesn't say nay? Okay, motion passes.
If I
Excellent.
said
everybody.
nay, do I get to hear you talk longer?
Nay.
Let's all hope not.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.
Bye.
See
Thank
you later.
you. Bye.
Bye-bye.